Hey guys, welcome to this very special presentation. What I'm about to show you guys is something super duper awesome. So just want to welcome you for hopping on here and congratulations for actually taking the time to watch this because I think you're going to be blown away with what I'm about to share with you here in this short little video here. So basically, I'm going to share with you the #1 traffic secret, the no BS guide on how I went from being a regular dude to interviewing over $10 billion worth of entrepreneurs and somehow got away with it. Now, I know that sounds kind of tricky or like weird or like, what do you mean got away with it? Well, I'll show you what I mean here in a second. But in this little video, I'm going to show you not only how you can do that, but how to specifically make your next 6 or even 7 figures by interviewing experts and becoming a celebrity authority in your niche while inspiring the world, even if you have no clue where to start. So whether you want to make money, build an amazing network, or make more money, grow your personal brand, literally the potential and the benefit is limitless what you can do by becoming an interview rock star yourself. So instead of just telling you about it, let me show you. I think you'll enjoy it. So first question is like, who is Omar and why am I qualified to help you? Like, what is it that makes Omar so special? And if you guys don't know, again, my name is Omar Elattar. I'm the host and creator of the Passionate Few podcast and YouTube show. We're available on multiple platforms, which I'll show you here in a second. But I've had the good fortune now of sitting down with amazing people. You can see me here in the photo. Somehow I figured out using some of the strategies I'm going to reveal with you here, how I got to sit down with none other than 10X GC, Grant Cardone, Uncle G, and also Ed Milet, Mr. Max Out himself, and how I interviewed them in the Hollywood Hills, smoking cigars, drinking wine about everything from success to mindset, and got hundreds of thousands of people to enjoy it and be inspired by it. But also not only how I've just done that once, but how I've repeated it using a system that's been amazing and the people around the world have reached out to me to find out. So I'm going to show it to you here. Again, I've interviewed people like Tom and Lisa Bilyeu, the creators of Quest Nutrition. You can see there on the left with the blue background. I've had the good fortune of having them on the show twice now, I think. Tom's also become a good friend. You end up building, I should say, a lot of good relationships with a lot of these people, which is one of the other benefits. Over here on the right, you see me with none other than John Paul Dejoria. He's the billionaire founder of Paul Mitchell and Patron Tequila. Had the good fortune of interviewing him as well and sharing his story about literally going from being a homeless dude on a journey to living in his car. Literally, he was homeless at 2 different points in his life, to later becoming the founder of not one, but 2 billion-dollar companies. All people have had the good privilege of sitting down with. And so if you guys want to get a little bit of context, I've reached over 5.5 million people and have almost 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. Certainly more at the time that you're watching this, which is cool because I was humbled by it. In the beginning, I didn't even think anybody would listen to me, anybody would know who I am. Anybody would feel like, I was offering any kind of real value. But by being consistent, I was actually blown away at the results. So again, like I said, we're on a lot of different platforms. Here you can see some of the YouTube numbers on the left. We have 97.7 subscribers at the time of that screenshot, probably a little over 100,000 at the time of you watching this, right around there. And you could also see below on that YouTube video where it says Manny Koshman, how I made it from homeless to $250 million real estate mogul. I actually did his first interview ever. And, other people have interviewed him as well. People like Ed Milet, amazing people. And our interview is actually the #1 most watched Manny Koshman interview ever. We got over 500,000 views, all organic traffic, haven't paid a penny for it, which again, I'll get into in a second if you stay till the very end of this presentation. Then on the right, you can see that I have the Apple podcast cover. So typically with podcasts, whether you have one or you're just getting into it, people don't know that one of the best kept strategies about it is that you can actually strip the audio from YouTube and use it on a podcast. So again, guys, on the left is just some of the YouTube metrics. On the right is the Apple Podcast metrics. Kind of gives you a brief profile of how that works. 451 5-star ratings average. So it's been amazing. And like I said, guys, what we've seen traditionally in the space, and I'm sure you guys kind of have a little bit of familiarity with interviews and podcasting and stuff, but what's interesting about what I do is I use a unique approach. Because while I think podcasting is awesome, I also think it has some downsides, some short sides to it that a lot of gurus out there aren't sharing with you guys. And so that's why I realized by doing one simple thing and adding YouTube to the equation, you could become a YouTube-based podcast interview expert and authority in your niche. And again, what's cool about it is that not only are you going to be on YouTube first, but that becomes the anchor to not only be on podcasts, but to be on every other social media platform. Places like Instagram, Facebook, again, YouTube and podcasts. We're also on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, which is a podcast platform, as well as LinkedIn. And the way you can get on these platforms is by actually taking short mini clips and sharing it on multiple platforms. So you could take a 1-minute clip, for example, from a full YouTube video or podcast, and strip it and repurpose it and get tons of views and get tagged in the process. And again, guys, I'll get into that in a second, but just to give you some context about what the YouTube-based show, instead of just a podcast, but a YouTube-based podcast has allowed me to do, it's allowed me to connect with amazing people that I never thought I'd even have the possibility of being in rooms with, right? You can see below, I think we have some pictures of me here with Russell Brunson from ClickFunnels, who's obviously become a great mentor. I've learned a ton from Russ. And also we have Tony in the middle. Tony was a huge inspiration to me when I started the show growing up. I mean, everybody in the personal development knows, like, the dude's just a rock star. Like, if you want to kill it, like he's the guy to learn from. And then on the right here, me and my marketing president just literally got featured not only in the top affiliates, as I mentioned, but got featured and got to be a part of their exclusive trip in Las Vegas, where they invited us out. We had unlimited access to people like Dean Graziosi, like I said, Russell and Tony, and be awarded for being amongst the top affiliates from generating in excess of 6 figures in revenue from a 2-week launch, leveraging the show. So just some of the power of not only the opportunity of a network, but also the financial opportunity. Again, these pictures were from a $30 million launch that I was fortunate to be a top affiliate for, and helping Tony, Russ, and Dean reach more people. Again, another benefit of the show. I've also had amazing opportunities. Like I said, when I started, I had no clue what I was doing, and I was blown away at what was happening, because while I would see tons of other people start podcasts and not have much success, I realized that by putting a camera in, it got me access to a lot more people. Some people I've had on the show are people like Grant and Elena Cardone. I've had Grant on the show, I think 2 or 3 times now. Actually, yeah, 3 times. Once in Malibu, another time in Beverly Hills, and I think a 3rd time was also in LA as well. Oh, it was in the Hollywood Hills, that photo with Ed and Grant you saw earlier. But you can see here some of the views, right? We got 5.6K likes, only 269 dislikes, and that has 320,000 views. Again, if you guys haven't seen my show, if you have, I appreciate you so much, but if you haven't, that's okay. The show's called The Passionate Few, and you can actually watch some of these interviews instead of just seeing them in videos here. Nothing strategically being manipulated. It's all 100% transparent. I've also had Ed Milet on the show. Ed's become a huge, huge inspiration in my life and a great friend. We have one of the most popular interviews ever with Ed. Got to interview him at his house in Laguna Beach. Just some of the power that was able to be created, and momentum that was able to be created by offering these people cold outreach using some simple strategies I'll reveal to you at the end here about how I was able to get in front of them and how I was able to get them to agree to doing interviews that have now gotten hundreds of thousands of views, many in the high multiple 6-figure viewership. I've also had Tom Bilyeu, founder of Quest Nutrition, on the show twice. Got to interview him twice in his house in Beverly Hills. And again, guys, haven't paid a single penny for any of these interviews, had no connections, no clue what to do. I was just a random kid in a Corolla who was trying to figure this whole game out of wanting to inspire the world, and got to connect with all the legends, people like Dean Graziosi as well here. This was actually in the Montage in Beverly Hills, over 31,000 views on this interview, which was amazing. Also had the good fortune of sitting down with legendary Frank Kern, who says no to everybody's interviews, but after some strategy, some insight, and adding value to him by having a YouTube show instead of just a traditional audio podcast, was able to get him to agree to be on the show. So it was just amazing, amazing, amazing stuff. And again, like I said, John Paul Dejoria. And again, guys, I'm not telling you this to impress you, but rather to impress upon you what was possible by creating my own YouTube-based interview show, and also showing you why I know a little bit about what I'm talking about here, and why I'm telling you there's so much left to learn. We're all learning in this game, but I promise you, if you master some of these strategies here, you'll also see the huge potential that's available. So again, this is me with John Paul Dejoria. He's holding up the Paul Mitchell bottle and the Patron tequila. Freaking love that. He's such a marketer. And it was awesome to get to connect with him as well. Had the good fortune of having him on. I've interviewed people like Dan Locke, and had some fun there doing some karate based poses. So guys, I've been in the trenches, and I know what it's like to really interview these people. I've seen the ups and downs. I've seen a lot of the mistakes that can be made. I've also seen a lot of the benefits that can happen. And due to the popularity of the show growing and people coming to me from all over the world to help them specifically, I actually had the good fortune of having Jordan Belfort from The Wolf of Wall Street actually interview me on his podcast. And what I'm going to share with you, if you stay to the end of this training, is exactly what I've shared with people like Jordan, He's interviewed me on the show, asked me about my story, shared a little bit about my rock bottom, but also I've been helping podcasters systematically do this for a while, and I shared some of the strategies, insights, and mindset hacks to help people not only get through with their podcast, but actually make more money and have more impact, inspiring the world with it. Everybody has a different reason, and I'm happy to help people no matter what it is. And again, guys, it's not just me doing this, right? Like, I'm not the only one with a YouTube-based podcast. Like, look at these other thought leaders with their own show, whether it's people like Tony Robbins or people like Lewis Howes with the School of Greatness, amazing women in the world like Rachel Hollis with her Rise podcast, where she's interviewing experts, even Ed Milet from the Max Out Your Life movement. You have people like Tom Billy with Impact Theory. You know, he's sat down with so many amazing people. Tom is such a great guy and really, really doing great work with his interview show, bringing amazing people on and sharing so much value with people across industry. I've also, again, learned from Grant Cardone a thing or two about the power of collaboration versus competition. And Grant is a huge proponent with a bunch of his content, collaborating with other people doing amazing things in the world, interviewing experts on his show, people like Gary Vee. And of course, women in power, people like Elena Cardone have their own show as well. She has her own movement, and she's been making a huge move on YouTube and gaining so many followers and women around the world who are inspired by her mission and her work. So, guys, it's pretty clear that a lot of people are doing this. And the question you might be asking is, well, why, right? Why, Omar? Like I get it. Like, podcasts are cool. Like, obviously, I know, you know, they sound like they're beneficial, and, you know, it sounds like you're having a lot of good fortune by having all these cool opportunities. But like I want to encourage you to really sit back and ask yourself, why is it that the category kings and queens across industry, you see this in every industry, in sales and real estate and business and marketing, home, literally every industry, fitness, I mean, the list goes on and on. Why are people starting their own YouTube-based podcast interview shows, and why should you ASAP going into 2020, right? Like why are they doing it, and why should I, right? That's a very good question. And the answer is because they work, right? And you might be asking, well, why? Well, although there's many reasons, here's the big three, as I like to call them, okay? These are the big three reasons why I think having your own show is easy and it actually works, okay? And number one is going to be that it's the number one way to establish celebrity authority while also growing your audience and increasing your impact, influence, income, and network in the process. So whether it's, more people you want to reach or more impact you want to have, maybe you're in a space where you want to contribute more to society and it's not so much a financial benefit, or maybe you're doing well but you just want to get to that next level, or maybe you're stuck in a rut because you don't think that dream is possible for you, and so you're sort of doing what you're doing, not thinking it's possible. You're seeing people like Omar and all the other people, we mentioned up here with their own shows doing it and thinking like, man, could I really do that? Is that really possible for me? Well, it is. Because if you do this, not only will you find momentum on your side, but everything will grow as well. Anything you want to take advantage of is available. And by doing it, you're actually going to more easily attract raving fans, high-ticket clients, and be able to distinguish yourself from anyone else in your niche. Like, maybe people are doing what you're doing in business at varying levels of success, but nobody's going to be you based on the value you're giving. And if there's anything we know about nowadays, like, not only are you going to be inspiring up to millions of people if you're consistent with it, but it's that content is king, okay? Content is the new currency. Plus, your network will explode. So guys, literally, this is the number one way to break through the noise and become somebody who's listened to sooner rather than later. And the reality is this stuff works. I mean, if you think about some of the most famous people in society, you look at people like Oprah, who's reached amazing heights in her levels of success and impact, not just in the financial sense, but also in her sense of contribution, network, impact, like in a literal sense. Here's her with Tom Cruise. We probably should have had the photo with Tom on the couch. I know you guys probably saw that freak out, right? But bottom line, guys, this stuff works. Oprah has become a billionaire and a celebrity authority simply by interviewing enough of them. And she's making an impact in the world doing it. So if you stick to it and build out a show, no matter where you start, you can do it. Like, this formula works. I'm going to share with you here why, okay? So number two, it's never been easier in human history than right now to get in touch with almost anyone in any industry and interview them on your show fast. Now, guys, I'll be honest here. I'm not making a claim saying 100% of the time this will absolutely work for you every single time. It's foolproof. I'm not saying that at all. The reality is it's hard to get in touch with people, right? But only because of the way you look at it, right? It's your mindset element that's making it hard. What I found is that actually You know, there's a beautiful quote, I'm sure you guys have heard it. You know, it's that we have nothing to fear but fear itself, right? And so that's what makes anything in life hard. Think about things you might have been doing in your business to already have a certain level of success or momentum, right? They were hard, but by doing it consistently, you found out, oh, I was just freaking out about it. It was a lot easier than I thought. And guys, if you look at the platforms, you can see me here with people like Russell Brunson, Tony Robbins, Tom Bilyeu, and the very bottom here on the left, I'm with the amazing Lisa Nichols from The Secret. On the right side, the third photo down, I'm there with Tariq El-Moussa from HGTV's Flip or Flop. Like, guys, it's never been easier in history to get in touch with people if you have the right strategies and system. Even if you have no clue where to start, you have no followers, no clue what you're doing. That's exactly where I started. I was totally broke, $30,000 in debt. And I was using these strategies efficiently. At first, I made so many mistakes, but I learned how to become more and more efficient at getting in touch with them on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on email, calling in, and really realizing that like in 2 or 3 touches, I could actually sit down with amazing people. And guys, this is because of the access we all have on social media, email, and telephone. Like literally, I'm telling you, especially when you have the right strategy, this is all possible for you. If you're watching this, you probably have a laptop or a cell phone. And that means that you have the device that can connect you, right? Like, is this making sense to you guys? And I hope you guys are really getting a lot of value, because you got to know that like, not only does this stuff work, there is tons of experts nowadays who are wanting to be featured on more and more podcasts and YouTube shows every single month, literally more than ever before, which gives average people like me and you a chance to interview them, right? It gives us a competitive advantage to have an opportunity to say, hey, you know what? From everybody vying for your attention, I actually want to give you value. I don't just want to interview you on my show where people hear the audio. I actually want people to see your face. I actually want people to hear your message. I actually want people to buy your book, or I want more people touched by what it is you have to share with the world in terms of you wanting to contribute to them, right? So with that growing demand of people, there's a growing demand of opportunity for you to feature them on your show. And guys, number 3 is that no matter where in the world you live, you can do this. Now, here's what I mean. Whether you're conducting interviews virtually or in person, literally there's no location you can be where a device you already own wouldn't be able to make it happen. So I've done interviews in person over a laptop, and I can tell you it's amazing because you can actually screen share on your phone. If you interview somebody, say it's over your phone or over a laptop using platforms like Zoom, you can actually record that content, screen record, and still be on YouTube. So you could be recording from Zimbabwe or New York or New Zealand or California or Australia or England or anywhere, and literally from your phone or laptop, interview people anywhere else in the world, whether it's virtually or in person. If you have the means to travel, I can certainly help you sort of figure out strategy for that. But even virtually, like if you use the right strategy, you can get in touch with amazing people from your laptop, literally the same laptop or device that you're watching this on right now. Imagine if you were conducting interviews and inspiring the world and building an audience in the process doing this. So no matter where in the world you live, you can do this. Seriously, guys, like if this was possible for a regular dude like me, like why not for you? Like, why not now, right? Like, that's the question that so many people have been challenged with. And I think that's why we're starting to see growing demand. I'm sure you've seen it too. People wanting to start shows like, oh, this guy or this girl started a show. Like, I want to start one too. On the left here, you have the amazing Patrick Bet-David from Valuetainment on the left. And one cool thing about the show on the right here is you'll actually see I actually interviewed the amazing Sarah Ann Stewart. If you guys don't know her, she's a holistic health expert. But I actually interviewed her in her home in the Hollywood Hills. Had the pleasure of being invited there and actually interviewed her in her pool. So it's been pretty awesome to build relationships with a lot of these people. Again, like I said, you can do this virtually if you want to do it by laptop or remote, or you could do it in person. Literally, there are so many amazing people close by where you live that if you just gave it some insight, you'll see what's possible for you to do. And guys, here's the good news. Because you might be seeing this and going, okay, Omar, like, yeah, like you're interviewing legends, like you're already in momentum, all this stuff's going, but like, is this really possible for average people? And here's the good news, guys. It's actually a lot easier than you think. But first, you guys got to know, like, I didn't start off interviewing these legends, right? So you might see me here interviewing amazing multi-billion-dollar entrepreneurs by oceanfront properties. You see a mic in there, right? You see me in the middle photo with Lisa Nichols from The Secret. There's a boom mic up top, and there's a camera on a tripod. You also see me on the right here interviewing Joel Marion, who went from broke to 100 million. You guys might not know him. Amazing stories. But like, guys, like I didn't start out like this. I didn't start with all the puzzle pieces figured out. I still barely know how to turn on a camera. And I actually figured out some simple strategies about how to assemble a team, how to put systems in place that are super duper effective, where by literally like starting using the most simple means, you can gain so much more momentum. So don't see all this and get intimidated. It's actually a lot easier than you think. And to prove it to you, I'll actually show you how I started. So, you know how people say take imperfect action? Well, watch this. My actual first real interview was with a guy named David Connors. And the reason why I'm photoed here next to him on the left and have the video from YouTube on the right is because literally I wanted to prove to people that there's amazing stories everywhere. And the reason you don't know who David Connors is because he was a homeless man who I struck up an inspiring conversation with on the street. I literally pulled out my iPhone. I said, you know what? I'm going to record this because this is awesome. It was just a little gem. He shared some insight about why it's important to do what you believe is right in life. And sometimes you can end up in rough situations by following other people's advice and getting lost. And so one of his biggest regrets and concerns and values he tries to live by now is by trusting his own intuition. And I literally took out an iPhone, shared it. Didn't get a lot of views at all. But guess what? It built the momentum. And guys, the Passionate View show wouldn't have started, to be honest with you, if I didn't have a compelling reason. If I didn't get dumped by my ex-girlfriend, I wouldn't have had any of this motivation. So you see a little photo there with the exes and a fun little emoji here. I wish her nothing but the best. But at the time, this was certainly how I saw her and saw myself, to be honest with you. I literally wouldn't have had the impetus, the desire, because a lot of times, I'm sure a lot of you guys might have had ideas, insights, inspirations, but until you're struck by desperation or radical inspiration do you strike. So just want to be 100% transparent with you. I began with nothing when I was at rock bottom, when my ex literally dumped me out of nowhere one day, and I was devastated. But to be honest with you, this became my fuel. I was a kid in a Corolla who had this goal. I said, you know what? You don't want my time? Well, you know what? Let's see if people do want my time. I felt so much like I was hurt by her. And at the time, I've done a lot. At the time since then, I had to do a lot of inner work. And so I did a lot of soul searching. And I realized that I heard this line from Tony Robbins. And I hope this adds value to you guys. It's that nothing in life has any meaning except the meaning that we give it. And so that became my fuel. I was a kid on a Corolla with a dream to want to give my life meaning, to want to turn this pain into power, to want to turn this breakup into a breakthrough. And so maybe your why isn't as emotional as that, right? Maybe it's not an emotional thing. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, right? Maybe you just want to get more traffic, or you want to make more money. You want to inspire the world. You want to spread your message. You want to become a category king or queen. Maybe you just want to have a bigger impact. Maybe you want to grow your business, become a thought leader in your niche. Maybe just have an overall greater sense of success. Maybe you too want to prove people wrong. And maybe, just maybe, if I know you, you also want to do some culmination of all of these things so you can truly change the world. And I promise you guys, it all starts. I started literally with a homeless guy on my iPhone after a breakup. Believe me, I was a kid in a Corolla. I didn't think it was possible. But guess what? I got my first big interview because I kept going and I kept trying strategies, and time again, things wouldn't work until I reached out and used a simple system to interview Tom Bilyeu, the creator of Quest Nutrition, for an interview. And Tom was actually my first big interview. I think I was only a handful of interviews in when I got him on the show, and it was none other than the Tom Bilyeu. I literally couldn't believe that it was happening. It was my first big break. I tried so hard to make this dream a reality, to interview people. I didn't know how to make money. I didn't know how to really make an impact. I didn't know if people would listen. I didn't know if I was good at asking questions. To be honest with you, I was an introvert. I didn't think I had the chops for it. I didn't think I was going to be good with cameras and mics and and all sorts of weird stuff. I felt I looked awkward. I felt I'm not as sharp. I'm not as successful as all these people. I was loaded with limiting beliefs. I get it. And so finally to have one big interview like that, it was just a relief. And that's when the epiphany hit me, the epiphany that this was possible for me. So I just repeated what I did. I used the strategy and I repeated what I did to book Tom, and I got another one. And then I got another interview, and then it just kept on happening. Kept booking one after another. And like I said, guys, I'm nothing special. I was broken, lost, and depressed for a while before I was, in any kind of momentum. But because I took action, invested my time, invested my money, my energy, it all paid off. And to be honest with you, all I had was passion and the hunger and the drive to make an impact. So you don't even need to have a massive following either on the outside, but I will tell you, you got to have some passion on the inside. But other than that, it's an easy strategy that works. If I did it as a kid with the Corolla and literally figured out how to fine tune an entire process so that even if nobody could do it, they could, Like, trust me, this is possible for you too. And guys, whether you're a business owner who has a massive, big, small, or no brand at all, maybe you're just somebody doing well in your lane, right? Like maybe you're having a certain level of success and momentum, but you want to do more and you feel like, is it appropriate? Is now the right time? I want to let you know that this video, this little thing you clicked on here and chose to invest your time in, is your permission. Like, this is the sign you've been looking for, because if you do it the right way, like only if this is done the right way does this work, can it happen for you. But right before we get into it, I just want to let you guys know this is only for business owners doing at least 6 figures a year, such as coaches, consultants, info businesses, high ticket offers, sales professionals, infopreneurs, pretty much anyone who's committed to mastery in their craft, right? So this is not for people who are trying to get rich quick or people who are just trying to sort of like leverage to build a personal brand. Like, we literally want good people who have a proven track record of putting good effort forward, who want to build a movement, who have a tribe, who want to get out there to the world. Yes, of course, you'll make a ton more money if you grow your audience. Everybody knows that. But if you figure out these strategy hacks, I promise you the same commitment that you've applied to become at the level you're at right now, using a fraction of it, you can get there so much faster by having your own show. So again, guys, this is only for business owners doing at least 6 figures a year and people who really want to take their life, their impact to the next level. And guys, here's the thing. If you're not that committed and you don't fit the mold, no biggie. Like, this video may not be as valuable to you. There'll still be a ton of value. I promise you'll enjoy it. I hope you even take notes. But if you don't fit that mold, then it's probably not going to be as valuable to you because you're not going to see the impact and the scale of the potential and the upside for you. But that's okay. Okay. And if you do fit the mold, I want you to pay close attention to what I'm about to show you, because if you do fit the mold, I think you're going to be blown away. So whether you do it mentally, you do it on your phone, or you do it with a pen and paper, I would encourage you to do it, okay? You're going to want to have a pen and paper to take out notes, okay? So pay attention. Research shows that if you just hear something, you retain a fraction of it, but you're 85% more likely to retain it if you actually write it down as you hear it, okay? So no further ado, here we go. Let's get right into how podcasts work and how they take your business and personal brand to the next level, and why there isn't a single big name who hasn't launched a podcast yet, except you. So here we go. When it comes to entrepreneurs, it's very hard to name a single person who doesn't have one. I know earlier I mentioned amazing people like Tom Bilyeu, Rachel Hollis, even Tony Robbins. And guys, even if you don't think it'll be a get-rich-quick scheme, let me show you why it's literally nearly impossible to not make money having a podcast, okay? And guys, while I tell you about that in 1 second, I just want to, before I get right back to it, I want to let you know that having a podcast on YouTube has so many whys. Primarily, it's because the old way of doing interview podcasts doesn't work anymore. The reality is a lot of people are talking into a microphone, right? They want to reach more people. And again, nothing wrong. I do that, right? Like, it's normal. I've done that. And while it has maximum utility, it has a limited environment with which that utility can be exercised. Case in point, it's like having a car that's just not getting you from point A to point B without some sort of hiccup along the way, right? That's not allowing you to, I guess, get through to traffic as you would like, right? So maybe it's a beaten down car on the right that, it's going to have a limited mobility through traffic. Or maybe it's like the person on the left where you're just doing mic through an audio. You're going to have limited traffic there as well. And the reality is that if you ask why, it's because people want to see you. Like, long gone are the days of people getting by. More people are starting podcasts today than ever before, but even less of them are starting it by having it on YouTube. And guys, the reality is that audio podcasts are amazing, right? Like, it's amazing, but they don't fully work to maximum benefit because you can't visually brand yourself among 700,000 podcasters and growing. Literally, there's over 700,000 podcasters. And if you look at YouTube now, a lot of people who've had success on podcasts are now trying to migrate that traffic and opportunity onto YouTube and having a tough start. So there's people who have millions of views and downloads on podcasts, but when they go on YouTube, nobody knows their face, and so they're only getting hundreds of views. And so they're not getting accurate metrics, or I should say parallel metrics, because although they know YouTube has a much bigger opportunity for personal branding, for people to know, like, and trust you, they just missed that boat. And so if you're watching this video, I want to let you know why, while I can show you this stuff, you don't want to miss the boat, okay? And again, guys, make sure to pay close attention and take notes, because a lot of the valuable insight's not going to be on the slides as much as it's going to be on my voice as I communicate this stuff. I just really want to show you guys that by not just doing audio podcasts, you're creating a much bigger opportunity on video. Like I said, you can't build a strong like, know, and trust factor. Do you know the top 10 podcasters, what their face look like, aside from maybe Joe Rogan? And even then, it's because Joe Rogan has a YouTube-based show, or he's been in Fear Factor, right? If people don't see you, they can't know, like, and trust you. Does that make sense? You're just going to be minimizing your audience potential, and that's going to probably limit you. And so the reason why is because people tend to watch the same YouTuber repeatedly, while they tend to listen to random podcasts on audio format without too much loyalty. Meaning, if you guys watch podcasts, you'll start to see, or listen to podcasts, I should say, you'll start to see that while you may enjoy watching the same video or the same YouTuber or the same interviewer over and over through video, you might not always subscribe to a podcast you listen to, or you might be a casual pop in and pop outer, right? You might listen to content here, but not really subscribe, not really know what they look like. And so while you might enjoy the content, you're not really going to be making that deep connection with people like video can. Plus, think about it, guys. All the effort and time and energy that you're not capitalizing on for your brand exposure, when you could just be placing a camera there to add value by applying simple systems, like, you're leaving so much opportunity on the table. Not just money, but also impact, relationships, network. Think about how many people would want to be on your show more if you had a video versus just an audio platform, especially when you're starting and you might not have the right numbers on your side, right? You might have low numbers, and so you feel intimidated to reach out to a big person. Also, guys, you can't repurpose the audio content even a quarter, a fraction of what you can do with video content if you have it. Like, you're restricted to audio only, and you can only repurpose audio on audio platforms. So you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot by doing that. And worst of all, guys, like, whether you have a business you're trying to grow, leads you're trying to generate, maybe a nonprofit, which we've seen many people do successfully, your calls to action are not going to be as effective if they're only on podcasts. They're going to be a lot weaker than if you had them on video. Plus, you can't inherit these experts' audiences on YouTube like you can if you're just doing it on podcasts. Like, what I mean by that is, like, you're not going to inherit the audience of the Grant Cardone of your industry. I'll use him as an example just because he's been on so many times. But you can't inherit Grant Cardone's audience on YouTube if you're not on YouTube, right? Like, so you're gonna have a lot more retention from their subscribers and followers if you have video versus if you have podcasts. Most people are not going to listen to a Grant Cardone podcast with somebody other than Grant Cardone, but they may watch a YouTube video of him with it, right? Like, am I making sense here, guys? Is this bringing you value? Like, I hope this is really, like, resonating with you, because this is possible from wherever you're at. Like, whether you have, like I said, a virtual setup or you want to do an in-person setup, like, this stuff matters. Like, and you'll be lucky if you get subscribers from iTunes from someone's followers versus YouTube. It's almost automatic. So, guys, the new way of doing YouTube-based podcasts are the future. Like I showed you earlier, there's no denying that people are making a ton of impact by actually building their personal brand, reaching people, obviously collecting leads and growing your business, but most importantly, growing your longevity. Frank Kern once told me one-on-one that he thinks the stock market of the past is the content of the future. Bottom line being, the stocks you wish you bought because they went up in value sooner, it's kind of like content now. And the sooner you get into content now where people know, like, and trust you, you're going to build that relevancy for so much longer down the road. But you got to get in now because the market's getting super saturated. So that's why you're seeing a huge rise of this new way of doing YouTube-based podcasts, which are basically YouTube interviews. And the reason that YouTube interviews work is because you get to be seen with business celebrities and build a brand by association. See, when people know you, they trust you. Right? If you're facilitating, and obviously this is assuming that you're ethical. If you're not being ethical about it, or you're being totally selfish about building your brand, this is probably not the right fit for you to even be watching this video. But if you're somebody who wants to have an impact and also build a little bit of brand association, credibility, networking, opportunity, like, this is why this works. Not only can you do that, but you can repurpose and recycle your content. You can put them on multiple social media platforms like we mentioned earlier, places like Instagram, Facebook, iTunes, LinkedIn, YouTube. I mean, the list is literally endless. Anywhere content can go, you can repurpose some element of your YouTube-based stuff. You see people like Gary Vee doing it all the time. And again, guys, it's much easier to stick out on YouTube by interviewing experts versus on podcasts, which aren't that great at the moment, unfortunately, at search optimization or really discovery, right? A lot of people are not going to discover your stuff unless it's easy to. And if you're interviewing experts, you probably want to reach as many people as humanly possible, as easily and affordably as possible, right? So instead of competing with 700,000 people's voice, why not compete with the few people in your space, if any at all, who are actually interviewing experts like you can? And why not get in sooner? Remember, we said it's a stock market of the future, kind of like Apple stock or Amazon stock, right? You wish you would have got in a year ago or 2 years ago or 10 years ago. But like the expression goes, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is today. And again, guys, you get to be seen with business celebrities to build a brand by association. You get to be on these platforms. I just want to emphasize in blue here some of the extra opportunities that occur for you when you can inherit audiences. You can drive organic traffic to whatever it is you're offering. You can have much stronger CTAs, which are calls to action. And also, you get to have YouTube create an evergreen asset. And what I mean by that last one is that I have videos today that are still monetizing and producing viewership, subscribers, and lead generation and sales that I've done a year ago, that I've done 2 years ago, that I've done 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 3 weeks ago, right? 1 day ago. And so as you create content, no other platform today, not Facebook, not Instagram, not Apple Podcasts, nowhere are they promoting you by discovery for free, like algorithmically for free on content you've done in the past, right? But YouTube does that. YouTube creates that opportunity for you so that you can have stuff grow and grow and grow. Plus, the more you do that, the more people are going to want to share your stuff. And guys, this stuff isn't theory. Like, this stuff works. And this is exactly what happened to me. You can see here on the left here, in recent years, you've started to see a lot more people do these interviews, but using some of the strategies that I've implemented, I've had the good fortune of being literally posted on their platforms. Dan Locke, I think I have the #1 watched interview with him in the world. Again, humble brag. I'm very grateful that we did that. I'm grateful that we were able to make that happen. But again, guys, I'm just a regular dude. I had no clue where to start. I was a kid with a Corolla. I was overweight. I was trying to figure out how to get this going. To then be shared on platforms like Grant Cardone, who shared me over a dozen times, and I've got to inherit some traffic and reach more people and having greater impact for myself and my business, where he shared with me on the left. You can see this little video. He said, Elena and I had the honor of doing an exclusive interview with Omar. Omar's a rock star interviewer. We talked about my twin brother, how I first met Elena, and about obsession. One thing is for sure is that I'm one of the passionate few. So to get Grant to mention the name of my show like that on his platform, that sent hundreds of thousands of people to our show. And imagine what could happen if you just get one expert. It doesn't have to be a Grant Cardone. It doesn't have to be a Dan Locke. I mean, it could be. I mean, I've learned how to do that, and I've learned that it's actually possible, assuming you're a person who has value to give and you approach them in the right way. But the reality is, to have people like that shouting out my show name and my name and tagging me was just amazing, and started happening over and over again. You could see here on the right image, me and Dan Locke having a laugh in between takes. Also got to brand the Passionate Few logo on the bottom right, which created a movement, which allowed me to sell more products and services, impact more people, have in-person events, grow my email list, grow my lead generation, like all these things, and literally 100% free. I've never paid a single penny for a guest, and I've gotten so much traffic, so much opportunity, so much sense of fulfillment that was waiting inside of me for so long, because I knew I wanted to take action, but I was scared to invest my money, my time. I was scared to pull the trigger when I knew that pulling the trigger was actually killing my doubt and allowing me to live my dream. And guys, again, I went from a high, drunk, depressed nobody to literally growing my social media following, all organic here on the left. You could see on the top, it says 32,500 followers. Of course, we're up since we posted that screenshot. On the right, we have 97,000 subscribers. Interviews have gone 500,000 views. And guys, this is all from organic traffic. This is just from me getting to sit down and share and help people share their story with the world. And I'm blown away at what happens, not only when you do that, but what happens financially as a result of it. And guys, it literally gets better, because a lot of people don't know this. I know you might be in the marketing space, right? If the reality is, if you want to grow your business or your message, you know the importance of marketing, right? Reaching more people. And guys, would you be blown away if I told you that YouTube actually pays me to do these interviews? Like, I'll explain to you a little bit of a breakdown here. So let's go to the right first. On the right, you can see that I got paid this, which is $58,265.58. So that's YouTube AdSense revenue. I didn't do anything for it except post videos and flip a switch, which is pretty easy. And on the right bottom, you can see that I got paid to market to 5.494873 million viewers. And like I said, guys, at the time, both those numbers are higher. But a quick breakdown, just because I want to be 100% transparent, honest, and ethical with you. I know I promised you earlier in the presentation that I would show you guys, how these these things are able to make money. So if you've waited this long, I promise you, you're in for a treat. So on the left here, you'll actually see my actual interviews and how much revenue they generated me. Now, again, guys, I'll go through the numbers here real quick on the left and give you a full 100% honest, I believe in full ethics, 100% transparency. So just want to keep it real with you. It does take time. It could take a couple months. And at this stage, I've started the show almost 3 years ago. So I have a little bit of momentum on my side. So I just want to give you full context. But again, guys, like, what would happen if just one of these happened, right? If momentum just started happening little by little, you knock down one dominoes, and as a result, all the rest of the dominoes fell. So on the left here, you can see on the top, it says my Dan Lok interview, how to go from 150K in debt to millionaire, must-watch interview. Actually generated $9,000 in revenue. You can see interviews below that are Ed Milet, the janitor who invented hot Cheetos, John Paul Dejoria interview, Jared Getz, Manny Koshman, Grant Cardone. On the right, you see some of the numbers, right? $9,000, 5.9K, 4,300, 3,900, almost 4K there. Beneath that, 3.2K, 3,000, 2,000. And guys, like, that's just a few of them. To give you context, I have over 100 videos on YouTube. So I'll let you guys do the math. And some people have multiple YouTube channels, so those numbers can grow and grow and grow. But again, guys, it takes you putting in the time and making a decision. And again, guys, a lot of these videos are not even recent. Like, a lot of these are from a year ago. Think about that. Like, and guys, YouTube paying me is literally only one stream of income. It's only one stream of revenue. So, like, it's awesome. But first, guys, I want to ask you a question, okay? Like, what's the worst case scenario of you starting your very own interview show? Like, I want you to really pause and reflect and ask yourself that. Like let's for a moment really get into that and like really like ask yourself, what would be the worst case scenario if you're like, you know what, this thought, this goal, this dream, this desire, I want to sit down with multi-million-dollar entrepreneurs, multi-billion-dollar entrepreneurs, or maybe none of that. Maybe you just want to sit down with thought leaders in your industry. Maybe you just want to have an excuse to meet amazing people like I did, and you're not even quite sure how you want to monetize it or if you want to monetize it. The reality is that you should explore a worst case scenario, right? And not do it. If it doesn't make sense to you, don't do it. But for a moment, so that you don't have to, I went ahead and took the liberty of doing that just for you. So let's examine some of the absolute worst case scenario variables if you decide, you know what, I don't want to just be a podcaster. Like, I want to do YouTube interviews. I want to be a YouTube interview rock star, right? Like, I want to take imperfect action. Whether you want to interview a homeless person on your iPhone or not, totally up to you. That's what I did. But whatever it is, like, let's just ponder the absolute worst case scenario, okay? So let's say nobody watches it, right? Like, let's say you go through all this effort, you do it, and for whatever reason, nobody watches it besides you, your mom, your family, and maybe your dog, Skippy, right? Like, whatever it is. I actually had a dog, so he would actually watch stuff with me, so that's why I mentioned that. So maybe, you know, they say man's best friend. Maybe they're your best friend and they want to watch it too. But the reality is, if you interview some amazing person and don't publish it, like, you're going to feel good that you got it done, right? Like, that sense of happiness, that sense of fulfillment, that like, hey, I got this interview up. Even if you don't get to publish it, something goes wrong, you get nervous, whatever, at least you took action and got the momentum going, right? Like, again, guys, this is absolute worst case scenario. I kind of painted a whole bunch of the best case scenarios earlier, went over everything I promised that I would, but I just want to I want to paint the other side, right? I want to be devil's advocate. I want to show you both opportunities, right? I want to show you what a future doing this could look like and what a future not doing this could be as well. So again, guys, worst case scenario, nobody watches it. You interview some amazing person and get to connect with them and feel good that you did it. You get a free one-on-one coaching session with a 7, 8, 9, or even 10-figure entrepreneur. Like I said, John Paul Dejoria, a multi-billion-dollar entrepreneur, might even be in the 11-figure category. But the list goes on and on of the amazing people that are available if you just have the courage to build value, build an asset of value that continually pays you, not just in terms of viewership and attention and engagement, but also in terms of your sense of impact in the world. Grows your name, grows your mission. And normally, guys, a lot of these people charge hundreds, tens of thousands of dollars of their time. And for podcasting, if you have a YouTube, you'll be blown away at how grateful you will be that a camera and interviewing somebody through it on YouTube can replace tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars of time that I've gotten to spend. The time is definitely probably in the millions now of time that would normally I would have to pay for to be in the room with amazing people at this caliber. And like I said, guys, I've never paid a single penny before, like not even once, not even a micro penny to sit down with somebody for their time. Even when I had no followers, like even when I just started, I mentioned to you with Tom, I had never done a big interview like that. And by applying the strategy and taking action, investing myself, my time, my energy, my money, by making a decision, I was able to build a relationship with them, have a huge breakthrough in my business, and radically grow my network doing this. So guys, was that worst case scenario really that bad? I personally didn't think so. But if you do, let me know. If not though, like I really want you to think about it. Like think about it. You get to have a 1 in a million opportunity all for free. Think about the millions of people around the world who would love to be in a position that you're in if you're interviewing experts. You're getting their time. You're getting to interview them through your laptop or through your phone, or maybe you want to do it in person like me and a lot of other people who are doing it. Like think about that. Like really pause and reflect on that. And like that was really for me the second sort of epiphany that I had. Like I had an epiphany that I realized all opportunity begins at the beginning of a trend, right? It's like riding a wave. You want to get on early. And with this new wave, with millions of people wanting to do this, you getting this far in the education of this little video here, and maybe inside you have this fire that wants to do it, you know you want to, I promise you, if you take action on that, you have a 1 in a million opportunity that might not be there for that long. Now, I think there's still a window to do it, but I do think that window is closing. And I do think you should jump in before the window closes, because it's a 1 in a million opportunity. Sit down with experts for free. The beginning of this trend will die. Like, I don't think 10 years from now, everybody's going to be on everybody's podcasts. Like, I think a few people will survive, the passionate few, if you will, but it's only the people that take action and get in early. And guys, I'll take those worst case scenarios any day of the week. Like, the opportunity for that once in a lifetime opportunity is amazing, especially once you get one, because the moment you have one successful podcast interview that hits, even if in the beginning it's only a couple, maybe it's 10 views, maybe it's 12 views, maybe it's 50, maybe it's 100, maybe it's 10. I know in the beginning for me, I didn't even think about thousands. Like, I was blown away that even one single person would listen to me. Like, what? I'm just a kid with a Corolla. Like, why would anybody want to listen to me? I'm introverted. I'm not that confident about my voice. I wouldn't know what to ask. I have no experience being an interviewer. I have no credibility when I'm reaching out to these people for interviews. I don't have a following. Everybody else has a podcast. I don't know what to name it. I don't know how to make a cover. I don't know how YouTube works. It just sounded all so overwhelming. But I promise you, I figured out a system where I could have maximum impact with minimum overwhelm. And the second you plug in that formula and have one even miniature successful podcast interview, well, guess what? You're now in momentum to get another interview after another, one after another. And you're set up to consistently generate traffic, create leads, build a celebrity authority, attract high-ticket clients in your industry, and all while making an impact. And guys, I got to tell you, it's an entirely different universe. Whether you want to make money doing this or not, which it's going to be hard to avoid making money doing this, but whether you want to or not, like, I'll be honest with you, it's a completely different experience when you're selling, offering value, making an impact to viewers and raving fans who believe in the ethics of what you're doing than it is just trying to close a cold prospect, right? It's an entirely different universe selling to fans of your content versus selling to customers or cold traffic that doesn't believe you or trust you. And I know you guys have seen my 100% authenticity and truth here. I've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars, in the six figures for coaching and mentorship. And I've seen a lot of the pitfalls that a lot of people make. Certain people aren't transparent. And I know it can be sort of, a web you don't want to get tangled into, where you want to do more, you want to have more impact, but you kind of don't know how to. And so in my own journey of bumping into the walls, figuring it out, going tens of thousands of dollars in debt, trying to figure it out on my own, trying to hire and fire people, trying to put systems in place, trying to automate it, and then realizing that what got it to be the most efficient of all was doing the easiest things. It was literally just three things that once I literally locked in those 1, 2, and 3 things, it was just rinse and repeat. And then I started doing it and having success with it. Sort of people all over the world started reaching out, and then I just kept helping people, and it's exactly what happened to my clients. Like, literally, even the ones who started out with zero experience doing interviews, They've had people in Australia. People sit down with, Grant Cardone and Elena on a world tour. I know you've seen them a lot here. And again, it's not to impress you. It's to impress upon you what's possible. And maybe the experts you want to interview, don't have the biggest social media following. It doesn't matter. The reality is that expertise will always have an opportunity in a niche. And as you know, the riches are in the niches. Over here, you could see another one of my clients with Dean Graziosi. And again, these people, when they started, didn't really have experience with interviews. I think the gentleman on the right may have had a show on YouTube where once or twice he tried it. But on the left, she was totally somebody who had no clue that it was even possible to get into the rooms with these people and interview them. And she's done amazing stuff in her line of work and her sense of contribution in business as well. But again, guys, everyone's story is different. Everyone's at a different level. But the reality is, the truth is, you're just one podcast away. Like literally just one YouTube-based interview away from changing everything. And I promise you, you can do this, okay? You can do this. If you watch this video, you got inspired, you see the possibility, well, you're in luck because it's available to you, okay? You can do this. Now, if you want to get started, you need to know two things. Number one, you need to have a face and a voice, okay? That's pretty much the prerequisite to this, right? You need to have a face and a voice. Something people can see and something people can hear. So I think we're pretty good on that front. And secondly, you must actually just launch, okay? You must make a decision. Like you must say, hey, you know what? I'm going to launch this. I'm going to do this and I'm going to take action on it because I know what happens on the other side of it by me taking action. And when you do take action and decide, hey, today's day one, today's step one, maybe you have a show you're going to take it to another level, you're going to finally start, whatever it is, you got to make that decision. And again, to make that decision, there are a few ways you can go about this, okay? One, you can do it alone. You can figure out what tech to use. You can create a system to get a new podcast guest like clockwork, like I have. You can try to figure out how to get people on the podcast to begin with. You can bump into the walls a little bit like anybody did, right? Mess up like I did. You can pay for equipment that you don't need. I don't even want to get into that, but tens of thousands of dollars almost buying equipment because I thought, I want the professional this, professional that. But then I realized one simple thing that allowed me to automate my workflow and produce the content without knowing how to operate any tech myself. Again, if you do it alone, you'll get stuck not knowing what type of questions to ask guests, how to ask gatekeepers, how to connect with gatekeepers, what kinds of messages to reach out to. And then if you do get that far, you might get stuck because you don't know how to promote it, publish it, and optimize monetization on your content, optimize viewership. And then you'll get into that rut that a lot of us have gotten into. And I know I've been guilty of it as well. And I hope you don't struggle with this. But the reality is most people do, where you sort of have a little bit of momentum, but then you get stuck, you move slow, you start, you stop, and you risk kind of getting a little bit overwhelmed and quitting and giving up on what's possible for you here. Like, is this making sense, guys? Like you can do this and you can do it alone. I did. It just took me years to do it when I could have done it in months. Or maybe even less. Now, option two is you can actually schedule a free strategy call, okay? Now, when I say free, I want to let you know, although people usually only pay attention to what they pay for, the reason that I'm setting up this strategy call is because I want to figure out exactly with you what your podcast should be about to attract and book the best guests on your podcasts. And my team are specialists at this. Like, we go deep on this because we believe that we're on a mission to humanize greatness one story at a time. And in every industry, there's a story to tell. And I look forward to the world hearing yours. Again, guys, on this call, we're going to also be doing some cool stuff. We're going to create a custom game plan for you to launch your podcast within the next 30 days. So it's for action takers, from the gear to getting your first guest and everything in between and after. We'll also set you up with the people that I use daily to make the passionate few come to life. If you have any questions from them and they're in the studio or in the office at the time of the call, whether or not they're there personally or we just have the wisdom, happy to serve you with that information. And on that call, if you're a good fit, you may just be given the chance to join the Passionate Few coaching program, where I will personally be working with you. Yep, I'm actually doing this for select few people. Although we have a business that's so fulfilling and so enriching, it's been amazing seeing people from all over the world want to do this, and the demand has been so overwhelming and so many people get stuck. But I literally love this stuff. So for me, it's really about humanizing greatness one story at a time, reaching more people. I did this when I was making no money. I did this when I was broke, lost, and depressed. And I'm doing this now when things are going great. So if you're one of the passionate few that resonates with this message and kind of everything I shared with you here, you may be given the chance to join the Passionate Few coaching program. And I know a lot of people say that, like, oh yeah, like you may be given the chance, but oh, we're pretending we just want to say that because we want to see if you're a good fit or whatever. No, the reality is, like, I'm very serious. Like, the show is called The Passionate Few. I only interview the passionate few. So if you believe this resonates with you and you're one of the passionate few, and my team feels you're a good fit, or I might even be in the office. I'll probably be hopping on a couple of these myself, even though I normally don't. I might be hopping on a couple of these calls myself to see if you're a good fit. And if we end up inviting you, you'll get a complete A to Z 12-week content creation plan where you'll work with me one-on-one. So it won't be a group call. It'll literally be me and you, and that's it. A complete A to Z 12-week content creation plan to blow up your brand with your own YouTube and podcast show. I'll make it easy for you while I show you how you can inspire the world doing this. You also have one-on-one coaching and support from me and the team for 3 to 6 months, depending on how you want to space out the 12-week call. So, for example, we have a cool program where you can actually space it out, and we'll give you more of that information on the call. But whether you want to do it for 3 months or 6 months, we have flexibility in there because some people work at different speeds or paces. So we're very accommodating to your schedule with no consequence. So don't worry about that. I'll actually also share with you the exact step-by-step power positioning system you need to position you as a celebrity authority in your niche fast. And you guys can actually YouTube search me. YouTube search my name in the show and see that I've actually been there. Don't listen to the words that I'm saying. Look at the footsteps that I've taken, the actions that I've taken, and not just for days or weeks, but for months and years. I know exactly how this stuff works, and I know what doesn't. I'll also teach you the traffic secrets I've used to inherit audiences and customers from over $10 billion worth of entrepreneurs 100% for free. And guys, this is what I'm known for in the community a lot. I help a lot of marketers and digital marketers, affiliate marketers, also people who are looking to get more traffic on their YouTube show, gain more traction by using strategic SEO principles that are actually super simple that allow you to inherit the audiences or the niches of audiences of the experts that you would be interviewing on your show and how to optimize that for viewership. So again, guys, it's for action takers. You'll also be invited to get instant access to my $10 billion networking secrets, which is a course I have, but you'll also get to work with me, like I said, personally one-on-one. So if there's anyone in my personal network, which you got a little sample of, who can actually help accelerate your growth in your business or your life, or you want to hop on a quick call or connection, I'll actually offer that. I have a pretty good network, and so literally your goals will become my goals as it relates to the show. If you're invited to join the Passionate Few coaching program with access to my network. So that could be pretty cool. You'll also get direct access to my team, and they'll help you get all the gear and software we use, whether you want to implement your own, you want to hire a team to put them in place, whatever it is, any questions, technicalities, cost efficiencies, whatever it is, you have access to the actual Passionate Few production team who works on my content, helping you with whatever you need, and that comes with 24/7 support. And again, I'll fill you guys more in, and my team will for anybody who hops on calls, or if I'm in the office and I hop on a call with one of you guys who book your call today, happy to help you there. You'll also get live coaching from me as I show you what I'm doing now to not only get A-list guests, but do so much more. So if you guys actually want to, for example, use some of the time to hop on a call with me and see how I reach out to gatekeepers, if you want to actually see the exact scripts that I've used to get in touch with big names at every level of viewership and impact, whether you have no followers, no clue where to start, or you have a little bit of momentum, like I'll show you everything you need to know, literally from A to Z, including everything in between. So again, guys, this is specifically for business owners or people who are killing it in their niche, who are serious about launching the podcast on YouTube of their dreams. Like I said, I hesitate there because I want people who really want to build a show of their dreams. Like people who really want not just another podcast, but one that matters, one that has an impact, one that builds their brand, one that grows their business, one that grows their reach. People who don't quit, people who take massive action. And this is for people who want a fast turnaround time so they can start podcasting and growing fast. This is not for tire kickers who want to move slow and, hopefully this works out. This is for people who've said, you know what, I really want to do this. I think I'm committed. I really want to go in and actually make this happen. I want to make an impact in the world. I want to do this. So again, guys, I'm looking for another one of the passionate few who are interested, because we're the only podcast creators out there on YouTube that are designed specifically for business owners to help them create their own show at a high level. So if you're a good fit, like I said, we're on an invite-only basis because currently we're booked up for helping people in 2020. But I created this little video here to invite you guys, show you guys some value, share with you guys my story. And again, I'm only looking for a handful of people to work with in 2020 because we're so slammed up. And I know it's a bummer. I would love to work with a ton of people. And a lot of people say like, oh, well, you don't want to get overwhelmed with people. Like, no. I love this stuff. This is my mission. This is my passion. You're my tribe. If this is really speaking to you and you're like, man, I want to do this. Like, I'm stoked for this call. It is a bummer that I'm not going to be able to do it. But again, I can only work with so many other business owners who fit this criteria. So it's really for the passionate few. And again, guys, if you're not a good fit, I promise we can still help you, point you down the right path. But it will be a bit more difficult if you're not committed, if you're not all in and you're a little bit confused or whatever it is. But again, we're here to add value. So I want to encourage you guys one last time to think of the ROI, think of the potential. If you were ever on the fence, if this isn't a reason to jump over it, I don't know what it is. We'll figure out exactly what your podcast and YouTube show should be about to attract and book guests on your podcast fast. We'll create a custom game plan for you to launch your podcast within the next 30 days, from the gear to your first guest and everything in between. I'll set you up with the people I use daily on The Passionate Few. And like I said, if you're not a good fit, we'll do our best to give you some direction so that we can add massive value for you. And if you do get invited to join The Passionate Few, I think you're going to be blown away at some of the cool stuff that we're going to be offering for you guys in this coaching program and the workshop type coaching that I do with you guys one-on-one live. So again, guys, if this spoke to you and you're one of the passionate few, I want to encourage you to schedule your call in the link below now. You can click it, schedule a time, super easy. Once you click it, my team or myself, if I'm in the office, will actually hop on the call with you and deliver some massive value to you, help point you in the right direction and help turn this vision into reality. And so I want you guys to remember this time next year, wherever you're at right now in your life or your business or whatever it is, everything's cyclical. It replenishes, it comes back. The one thing that doesn't are decisions, and decisions at a particular time. You can't get your time back. You can't get your money back. You can also get other things back, but time is not something you can. So again, guys, if this is speaking to you, if this lights up the fire in your soul and you're interested in taking action and you've been thinking about doing this for a while, but you didn't know how or you were stuck, I want to encourage you to ask yourself one last question. What would the next year be like if you didn't do this? Right? What would the next 2 years be like if you didn't do this? 3 years, 4 years, 5 years? What would happen if you didn't do this? Now, I want to encourage you guys to ask yourself one last question, and that is this. What would happen if you do? What would happen if you make that decision? You know what? Today's the day. I'm going to book my call. I'm going to take action. I'm going to see what this whole thing's about. I'm actually going to really, really sit down and think about the possibility of what's possible for me. If this kid in a Crowley could do it, I could do it too. I know that this goal, this dream, this desire is in my heart for a reason, and I'm here to explore that reason. Well, then, if that's you, I think you might just be one of the passionate few. So again, guys, I hope you enjoyed the value here. Again, my name is Omar Elattar. I'm the host and creator of the Passionate Few podcast. You can YouTube search my name. You can find me anywhere. But first and foremost, I want to encourage you guys, if you enjoyed this presentation, to not delay. Schedule your call now, and my team will be excited, enthusiastic, passionate to serve you at a deeper level and help take you to the next level. So again, guys, it's on a first come, first serve basis. So make sure to book your call now, and look forward to hearing or speaking to you on the other side. All right, guys, talk soon, and excited to see you blow it up in 2020.